Hey, this is Max Dennison. It's another week of Tech Talks, Rec2Tech Talks. As usual, I'm the Digital Inclusion Coordinator for the City of Pittsburgh. Today I have another guest I'm going to introduce to you guys, and hopefully we'll learn a lot from him. I'm hoping everybody is tuned in and ready to learn. So with that being said, Karlton Ellies is my guest today, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we'll kind of get into the questions. Hope everybody's tuning in, got their pen and pad, and ready to learn. Again, the goal of Rec2Tech Talks is always to be able to learn from our guests, to bring unfamiliar faces in the tech space, to talk about their journey, and hopefully you can get something from each person's story, the ups, the downs, what was cool and what wasn't. That being said, go ahead, Karlton, introduce yourself.
Of course, my name is Karlton Ellies. I've been doing a little bit of IT, when I was younger and stuff. Never really dabbled into it. I joined the military, joined the Army, did that for a little bit. Did some small tech stuff in the military, but as we all know, military, man, it's a little old school. So I did a little bit of that. Really started talking to Max and some of my veteran friends and some of the people in when I was in Arizona, the tech people, programmers. Started doing that, and it got me to where I'm at, and learned and really enjoyed cybersecurity. And now I'm working in cybersecurity after, I think it was a year and a half ago. So that's where I'm at now.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And again, I'm glad were able to jump on. So we're going to start. I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I want to tap into everything. The first thing I ask you is, where are you originally from? Tell me a little bit how you grew up, and you mentioned that you had a little bit of tech experience in the background, but did you ever see yourself being here? So tell us a little bit how you grew up. I always ask the people who I come on an interview, what did you think you were going to be when you were young?
Gotcha. So I guess the first question is where I grew up. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so more so Plum. That's why I was raised up in that area. So I was raised there. And being younger, technology was pretty big in my family. I like playing like all the newer games, all the new systems and everything. I'm any kid pretty much like playing the new games and systems. And then it started to evolve to where my grandmother, she started asking help for her computer. I was like, Grandma, I really don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So it got to a point where I had to research. I was doing my own research to help her to fix her computer. So that's how that IT stuff came about. So I started dabbling into that. And as a kid, I wanted to be, like a sports player or someone being a doctor or something like that. And also maybe my last resort was a police officer. My father is a police officer. So I said, dang, I see my dad doing all right and stuff. I can be a police officer.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then another option was military. I did go into the military, and I knew the military wasn't for me, so I got out, and I'm here today.
Nice. Okay, so like maybe an athlete, but you said technology was in the family, so that was something that was not unfamiliar to you. I'm gonna jump ahead and then come back. So today, you're in cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell the audience your specific position and what you do on a daily basis, as much as you can tell us.
Okay, perfect. So I'm a SOC Analyst. I'm a junior.
I want to stop you right there. SOC, that stands for something.
Yes, it does. So SOC is a Security Operations Center. So pretty much it's in terms of defense, protecting someone's network. So the main gist of my job is protecting a client's network. So for instance, if someone's trying to hack into their systems or get personal identifiable information, then we're the ones, the SOC the Security Operations Center, we stop it right then and again. And then we also, the system admin also, which typically works with the clients also, they typically have firewalls set up, and we also help with some of those firewalls. And firewalls are, they pretty much stop from people getting access to the information. So what my job is, once we get alert, we make sure to investigate the whole concept what happened. So
are you able to give like a small, hope not nothing too technical, but an example of an alert? What does that mean?
So we use a SIM tool, which is a SIM tool is pretty much a tool we use to identify the alert. So alert normally comes through this tool we use, like a software program, and it pops up on the computer like, hey, there's an alert. So we typically, we click on it and see what's going on. There's a lot of, I'm trying to make sure it's not too technical. There's some technical phrases that show up and stuff on the log from the alert, and we have to investigate it. So with that, we have to go in and within our findings, we have other tools we use to make sure whatever is happening on that back end is not malicious, if that makes sense. So pretty much making sure what's happening on the back end of that client's network isn't malicious. And then if it's not, just giving them other ways to improve their network. And then that's one of the main types. And we do a little bit other stuff, my company and stuff with that, from giving them recommendations and also like, hey, maybe, make sure you tune out this as far as alerts, because they can be certain clients in different places. They might have different clients that deal with, they already have a team they're working with, but they don't have a SOC, which is of course, Security Operations Center. So for instance, they might have a pen test team. A pen tester is someone that is hacking the client's network. So a pen tester is someone that all their job is try to hack into someone's network.
And is that a legal job, the pen hacker?
Yes.
Okay. So they're hired to hack, basically. They're hired to be a licensed hacker. Being that you've been in this position and you've seen it, what do you think? What type of person is good for this job? What type of, how if we see somebody 6'8", like you should play basketball. If we see somebody who can run fast, we say maybe you should play football. Who do you think would be qualified or would be, if you're good at this, you would like this job?
Perfect. Someone that likes puzzles. If you're a type of person that likes to kind of fit the puzzle into a piece and try to understand stuff, this is a perfect job for you. If you like to be able to not only understand, both sides to things, but also the middle, this is a great job. I think those are two high key abilities and skills that are very important for this job.
Okay, and when you were first kind of transitioning, years ago, we would have conversations. We'd talk about the ups and downs, coding, programming, and I don't even know the specifics of cybersecurity, but I know that programming is like the beginning for everything. There's that veil. Everybody thinks that these things are unattainable, right? Specifically in our community, sometimes we think tech is so far away. How difficult is it to break into cybersecurity on a scale of 1 to 10? Or walk me through it. Walk me through how, if your son or your nephew say, hey, what you're doing is, I like you're a SOC engineer. I want to be one too. How difficult would it be for them to get in?
That's a good question. So for me to get in, all it took was perseverance and studying and pretty much making sure that I, take the time out. Instead of watching a game, I just sit down and do a little bit of studying on some certifications, computer certifications. So it takes, you know, you got to work hard. This is something, if you really want this, you have to work hard. And also, not with just that, you have to be willing to give up certain things that you used to. And I know, you know, Max, like programming is it's not easy at first. Sometimes you got to take the time to really sit down and really indulge yourself in it. Because if not, it's not going to stick.
Right.
So I think that's very important.
Definitely got to sacrifice. Definitely got to sacrifice. So, so you would just tell them, hey, if you want to do this, you can do it, but you can persevere. You can, I mean, as long as you're willing to persevere, study, you're going to have to sacrifice something. It may be the video game, maybe going out a couple weekends, but it's doable. How long was your journey? If or I guess for me, how long before you felt comfortable, before you felt like you can talk how you can today about it, where somebody could really get information from you?
Gotcha. And this journey took, I think I started on this journey probably like close to, I think maybe early 2019, around that time, and it's 2021. So it took me some time to get to where I'm at. And then not only that, but understanding, like, even for my job, it's good to understand computer programming. It's, you know, even we have some stuff dealing with our program or a SIM tool that alerts us, and there's things we could do on the back end. But if you don't know a programming language or has SQL knowledge or whatnot, or understand something, then it's really not going to click in your head like, oh, this is what this does. So I encourage everyone to pick up at least a programming language couple, so that way you can understand what's happening. And that, you know, in the near future, you could be, in a couple of years after you're in that job, you could potentially move up because you know that particular thing that they're asking for you to do. But yeah, it took some time to understand it. I think I'm always the type of person, I want to be on point with everything. I'm a kind of a perfectionist. So I, even to this day, I feel like, dang, I'm not where I feel like I should be. But it's also being able to understand that and work on your weak areas. That's very important. Work on your weak areas. If you know you're struggling with different stuff, dealing with your job, work on that on your off time. Don't just sit there and be like, let me wait till work comes and I'll figure out. No, work on that on your off time.
Right. You're hitting on a lot of key points. So I hope the audience is picking up on one of them. I always tell, you know, students, myself, is that, you know, the new workforce is going to be about continual learning. There is no, I got a 4-year degree, I'm done, I'm going to be a lawyer for the rest of my life. Technology is all about learning, understanding, and then learning some more. It's never over. So you got to become a continual learner, and you got to actually be interested in learning. And there's another thing you kind of hit on that I want to talk about as well. So 2019, you started. Right now, you're a SOC engineer. It's 2021. So essentially 2 years, which is still much more quick than a 4-year college degree, right? In the scheme of things, you moved a lot more into an important tech position than if I had started 2 years ago with you as a freshman out of university. Do you think that any of your military training helped with the discipline piece or no?
Oh, military helped a lot. I know for me, like, there's certain things the military ingrained in me. And, you know, respect and treating people like how you want to be treated, and just understanding different things as far as military, you always was learning. It could be something stupid that you didn't want to do, but you was learning while doing it. So learning was very key and vital to the job for military. And now once I got out, I'm like, sheesh, I still got to learn. So I'm still learning, applying myself. And the military have like strict rules or different ways to adhere by. And I also still have those principles to this day. So that way I'm consistent with it. I keep up with it. So yeah, I think the military came in point with that.
Okay, cool. So I hope everybody's tapping into, the things Karlton is talking about as far as what makes, a good cybersecurity person. And also, a lot of these are transient. A lot of what he's talking about, the discipline, working on weekends, being able to sacrifice or what's gonna make you or separate you from being a better programmer. So let's get into some more of the nitty-gritty details, right? So you make a decision in 2019, you want to get into tech. Since you started, tell me about some of your biggest challenges. What has been the biggest obstacles that just kept you up all night, stressed you out, maybe gave you a gray hair or two? Let's talk about those.
Perfect. Some of it was understanding the tech talk. Like, dang, how did I talk to this person without sounding, just basic or not understand what I'm trying to convey to him. So the tech talk is very important. You have to get to a point where you can talk some type of tech savvy way to someone, whether it's your boss, your manager, your friends, your coworkers, whatnot, because explaining it and understanding it are very vital. You got to have that. And then also understanding that I'm a hands-on person. Some of the stuff I learned, it's stuff that I would like to have my hands on. So I think another thing is understanding what type of learner you are. If you're a hands-on learner, then and you're gonna, understand it better, do hands-on stuff. If you feel like you can just watch a sermon or whatnot, a video on it, okay, and write it down, then you have to understand you're learning. What helps you learn. I think those two are very important. Because without one or the other, it's going to be hard for you to grasp this stuff. I know it took me some time because with COVID going on, I was remote learning. It took me some time. But if you know those areas where you're weak at and you need help, you got to understand the type of learning style you need to learn.
Got you. Good information. Now, and I know in your particular journey, Karlton, that you moved around a little bit. And most of that has been for tech. So can you kind of walk people through that? So to the audience, right? So I know Karlton, I've known you for some time. We're family and in a sort. And I pretty much watched his journey. And one thing that he has never hesitated, or at least from optically from a distance, is he's willing to move for the best opportunity. Can you tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I started at first I'm going to do computer programming. So I dabble into front-end development, which is like CSS and JavaScript and HTML and stuff like that. A little bit of Python and everything. And me and you, Max, we talked about that for a bit. So I dabble into that. And then I was like, man, programming is cool, computer programming is cool, but what else is out there? So I started got an itch for something else. So I started looking to like computers, and I started to like more so like hands-on type of stuff, like computer parts. My IT help desk stuff. So I started looking to that, and then I was like, this is cool too, but what is something that I can really get into to combine them both and also use some type of security element to it? So I met one of my military friends. He helped me to understand that there's other stuff out there for IT, not just computer programming or IT help desk. There's cybersecurity is huge. Right now, a lot of companies right now are hiring for cybersecurity analysts, and not even just for what I do. They're hiring for cybersecurity engineers, people that can work on the back end and code different things on the back end. So yeah.
Let's talk about that. So, I always tell people that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity in tech. What are the odds if I have the proper credentials to be in cybersecurity? What are my chances of getting a job right now?
Oh, chances? I mean, they're pretty high. They're pretty high because cybersecurity. Not only that, we have programmers, computer programmers that do like the back end. We normally call them like cybersecurity engineers. We have people that just monitor the incoming and outgoing of their alerts. So pretty much protecting the network. So like a SOC analyst or what I do. And then there's just managers, SOC managers that are in charge of a whole SOC team. And they make sure everything is flowing perfectly. And then you get other people that are super technical, which are like the pen testers, people that like to hack and stuff into the networks, ethical hack, let me say it like that, ethical hack into the company's network. And there's so many jobs available in those sectors.
Now, if I know I want to do that, what do I go to school for, or do I go to a boot camp? Pretty much know the programming, how that works. If I wanted to get into cybersecurity, do I need to take a certification? How do I join? How do I get that?
Got you. So there's different avenues to get there. I know some people that went to college, but I know a lot of people that have no college, and they're making just as much as or more than the people with a college degree. So I started off with, I had my bachelor's at this time, had my bachelor's in criminology and criminal justice. I was like, dang, man, I don't want to go back to school for a computer degree. I said, what's the next, what can I do? So, I've been learning, and people taught me and different HR resources. It's key to have your computer certifications if you want to get in cybersecurity. So there's A+ certification that is key. So it has a basic fundamental knowledge of how computers work. And then having Security Plus is pretty much foundations to security. And all these are CompTIA certifications. Those are very vital. And then also Network Plus is good to understand different IP addresses, understand what different terminology means. And what's a public and what's a private IP address, stuff like that. But yeah, those are very vital. And
where can somebody find CompTIA? Where can they find these out? Just Google CompTIA, or their courses, are they different in different states, or is this like a general across the board place? Where, if I wanted to start today and I watch your interview and I say, okay, I'm going to contact Network Plus or CompTIA, where would I go?
Okay. First off, the best thing to do, Google CompTIA. And then it will show you pretty much all the foundations certifications. So I have A+, Security Plus, Network Plus, and you can click on each one to get better understanding of what each one does. Now for study material, you can go to YouTube and go to Professor Messer, and he has videos for people to pass their computer certifications. So if you pay attention to what he's saying, you write down notes and stuff. I mean, that's a lot of people I know personally, they pass their computer certifications just by going to his YouTube and watching what he has. And it's all free.
It's all free.
It's all, yeah.
Cool. It's Professor Messer. How do you spell the Messer?
It's Messer.
Gotcha. That's what I wrote down. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you can literally Google these certifications, take a look at them, which is free. It only takes your time and energy. And you could go ahead and visit over to YouTube, watch professor courses, and get the information necessary. Now, if that's not enough, what happens then?
So with that, I would also like to say this, like to get your certifications, you will have to pay, of course, a price or exam fee and whatnot. So if that's not enough, there's also different particular books out there for A+, Security Plus, Network Plus, and CompTIA also has information on there which people can buy. They have for like taking tests, different books and stuff on their website. So if you want to buy those are good too. So you have, different avenues to really study and gain knowledge from.
Now, two quick questions and then we'll move on. Mm-hmm. How much roundabout are those tests? Mm-hmm. And the CompTIA certifications, where would you go to actually take the test? Is it like take the SAT or the, how when you go to take your, even if you're taking a law, mm-hmm. the law, they like send you to one university and everybody's in there. Is it that mm-hmm. type of situation?
Yeah, so there's two options. So So I think it's sponsored by Person View. In Person View, there's locations around Pittsburgh and whatnot that you can take it from. But you can also take this stuff online too. You don't have to sit down and do a proctor exam. You can go home and take the exam for the computer certifications. So you have two options. You prefer taking in person, you can do that. If you rather stay at home, that's fine too. But you have to show your whole room, let them know like what's going on before you take the exam. They want to make sure you're not cheating or anything crazy. So, and they're very strict with it. So most people just go in and take it.
Gotcha. You know, you're being an African-American male. We've had this conversation. Me being an African-American male, it makes us usually an anomaly when we're in the room. A lot of the times we're the only Black male or one of maybe two or three of us, and sometimes two or three of us in the whole company or organization. What I champion is I want to see more and more young Black and brown and women all enter the tech space. How do we get that? In your opinion, now that you've been on both sides, you've been the person that wanted to get in, you've gotten in, you got a position, and just kind of seeing the landscape of the country, how do we get young males, into this space?
Well, that's another good question. I think for me, just seeing what IT has to offer, like I see different people from, my friends that are, no college education, but they have computer certifications. And, they say, hey, I'm getting ready to buy a house. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is crazy. And this is another thing I was looking before 2019. I was like, okay, cool. Nothing, everyone can buy a house and stuff, but he showed me the house and what it looked like. And this guy, was taking, easily taken care of, by his job. So just seeing when that can be not only provision in his job, but also show me the money and show me his house and his cars and how nice everything looks. That motivated me. And then another thing is just being able to relate, related. Because being in that space, especially my job, I love my job. My job, they do an amazing job with diversity. They're big on that. And going into a job like that, I feel like a lot of young African men and women is key for them to understand there are companies out there that care about you. There are companies that pitch you. Yeah, they care about you. You're not there by yourself. And it's like everyone gets it and there for you and supports you regardless. And then there's my job has like a chain of command type of thing and stuff like that. But everyone treats me, I never had no problem. My job is, real good. But I think that's important for other young men and women of African-American descent or brown or whatnot to understand that there are companies out there that cares about them.
Got you. And that's really cool because, some of the tech talks that we've had, there have been negative experiences and there have been obstacles that we have called them that the person who I interviewed had to either overcome. And that's actually one of the questions that I would ask them if they run into a big problem is, how did you overcome that? How did you overcome, specifically one of the interviews was a woman. And at one point, I believe she would make a comment or she would make a suggestion and would just get completely overlooked because she was a woman. And it was like, well, how do you overcome that? How do you deal with that? So that's pretty cool to hear that, and that's a good point. And we don't always need to dwell, well, not always need to, but we don't, you said it perfectly. There are companies that care. So there are companies out there that are willing to help, look out for their employees and really help them become better at what they do. So that's really reaffirming, and I'm glad that you said that. So that being the case, that you had pretty much, good employee, a good employer, what would you say is your worst experience in tech so far?
That's a good question. Trying to think back, I haven't honestly came upon a terrible IT, you know, environment or anything that was kind of hostile, because with me going into a space that maybe I don't feel comfortable in, like sometimes you could just feel it. You see people looking and be like, oh man, you know. And before I got this job, I was doing like temp work and stuff. So for me, I'm like, I look around and think, you know, oh no, this is not for me, you know. So typically that's what I normally do. You know, before I had this job, I normally have temp work. I just look and see, and stuff that was all out of whack and people was looking at me up and down, and I was like, oh no, I don't think this is cool. So more so based on that, I normally just don't entertain it. I just walk out before I get my feet into the job, and they're like, hey, yeah, when you coming back in? No, I'm not coming back. I'm cool. So that's typically what I used to do. Just before the problem even exists, I leave and stuff. But I want to encourage people, don't, you know, you never know how the job is. Maybe get a feel and stuff and test it out. It might be cool, but you know, if it's going to be bad, then I would say, you know, don't waste your time.
There's other jobs available.
Yes, yeah, there's so many jobs available.
If a student is watching this, and they want to be in tech, are there any courses now, you know, in hindsight 2020, that you may have taken back in high school that would have helped you be, you know, even better at what you do today? Like, you know, is there a math course, or like, what should they focus on? If I'm if I'm a high school student, and I'm not sure what I want to do, but what you're saying sounds pretty cool. What classes can I be taking? What can I be working on that would make me, again, good at what you do? I
think a couple classes that I know per se, like work on your pre-calculus, your calculus, work on, if there's computer programming classes, no matter what it is, take them all if you can. Be like Pokemon, gotta catch them all, because it's going to help you longer in the long run, because you're going to be knowing certain things. I would say some people, when they go to a job, they only know one, maybe two. But if you have a basic fundamental understanding of 3 or 4, I mean, you're higher in the mark than them. You know, and if you know a little bit of math that goes along with it, you're good. And I also tell people, you know, I know computer programming is not fully on math. It has some instances of math, but it's not full drawn out in math at all. But having a math understanding is key. And, you know, that's coming from someone that hates math. I hate math.
Right.
It's vital. It's important to at least have a strong understanding, at least pre-calculus.
Got you. Good advice. Good advice. Appreciate that. Okay. We're rounding up on questions. Just a few more. What skills make you good at what you do? And if you could do a Build-A-Bear, if you could rebuild yourself to make yourself the best person in your department, what are those skills? They can be communicative skills, typing, being able to get along. What makes somebody great at what you do?
Perfect. So what I know I do best, and it makes me the perfect person for my job, whatnot, is being able to understand different viewpoints, being able to investigate stuff that other people might not investigate. Also keeping up on the news, understand what's happening in the cybersecurity realm, because you might see a cybersecurity hit from something and you're like, what the heck is going on? You have to always keep awareness about cybersecurity issues. So I feel like that's important.
Is there, and not to know, I want you to jump right back into that, but is there an instance currently or recently that you can speak about that would like directly affect something like, you know, something recent that people may know or not know about that may like directly affect what you guys do, or it's like, hey, something like this is something to keep our eyes open for?
Okay, perfect. An instance was, I think it was last year around December, November. It was a SolarWinds cyber security hack. they penetrated through the network system and pretty much got a lot of information from people's accounts. So yeah, that one was pretty bad. And that was before I even started my job. And I was staying up on cybersecurity events to make sure that, mentally in my mind, I know what to do. And I'll be like, I can draw back to what happened with those security events and be able to not only understand it, but also apply it to what's happening currently. So like understanding that, but that cybersecurity hack with SolarWinds was pretty bad. And then there's a lot of small cybersecurity things going on that with T-Mobile recently, that was pretty bad. And dispersing everyone's information. So your phone number, your name, where you live and stuff is all out there. And and a lot of people I feel like a lot of younger people, I don't care about my information. Everyone knows where I live. No, someone can easily use your information and create a person just based off of that. And so they can steal your identity and, the history, your credit score will go down and everything. So it's important to protect your identity.
A lot lately, and this is a little bit off, but it's relevant. I think it's relevant. I don't know. We'll see how. There's a lot of people going into social media, people's messenger, or DMing people, and they're saying a little goofy, "Hey, how are you?" I don't know if it's a bot. I don't know if it's. Obviously it's a scam, and they're getting people to put money up and lose money. Is that cybersecurity? What's happening there?
So pretty much that is phishing. PHISING, phishing. So pretty much someone uses, "Hey, how you doing?" Like very, casual. It seemed like casual. And once you click on it, it brings you up. It sometimes brings you up to a different site to log back in. So once you type all that information back in, that person that sent that, they have your information. So people have to be leery and wary about stuff like that, because something that may seem cool and fine, like, click on it and be like, "Hey, how come I got logged back in?" Don't log back in. Don't even click the link, because it's just someone that's trying to get your personal information. And that's what all these celebrities are doing. They don't have tech knowledge sometimes because they have a PR or a manager that does all that stuff in the back end. But clicking on those certain instances is not good, and it can affect a lot more, especially celebrities, so-called celebrities. That person, the hacker, can say whatever they want to say on their account, and then celebrities, they run by what's on the social media. So, but yeah, that's dangerous. Yeah.
All right. Rounding up, last questions. How important is it for, I guess, young people, old people, all people, in your opinion, to get involved in tech?
Oh, that's very important. Tech is where it's at now, and it's going to stay. Tech is something that is going to continually to evolve to the point where, we even got robots right now, doing their own thing and stuff, and walking around and policing and doing other stuff. So technology is going to be taking over different labor jobs soon. So understanding that, your mindset of where you're at. Yes, I'm a type of person, I preferred labor jobs because I can, pick stuff up, throw it in and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I think labor jobs are key too. But some of these people, like, they're creating these robots or different machinery to take places of humans. So technology is not even important for a career or a job, but it's important to understand it. As for instance, if someone's trying to hack into your computer, you know what to do or how to do things instead of just clicking on stuff. So I think tech in general is just very vital.
Got you. Before we wrap up, and I'll let you do your final closing, and then I'll do my final closing, I try to pull out some key points I've been writing down during the conversation that I kind of got from our conversation that anybody watching should be able to take away from. Number one, you're a SOC engineer. That stands for Security Operations Center Engineering. And somebody who wants to do your job should be, would probably be good if they like puzzles. They also have to, not have to, but if they are somebody who likes to see both views and the middle, be a great career for them. Both points of view, both sides. In order to become a SOC engineer, we're looking at maybe 2 to 3 years. And these are your words of perseverance, studying, and sacrifice. But it can be done. 2 to 3 years, you can get a job in this space. And there's plenty of jobs in this space, right? This is not ending anytime soon. Cybersecurity is a big thing. I always see it on the news, though. I mean, whether we're talking about politics, banking, even medical records. I mean, people are constantly trying to hack. So I know cybersecurity is huge. If they want to learn how to do this, Google CompTIA, there's a list of certifications that they're going to need to take. Professor Messer will help you on YouTube if you have access to him. You can watch some of his videos. Also, you pointed out that there are companies that care, and I guess it's very important for a person. But specifically, I would say if you're starting out or you're new, find a company that cares. Find a company that's willing to help you. Find a company that's willing to help you grow, be better. And lastly, and I feel like, again, this is a transient idea, the future belongs to lifelong learners, to people who want to continue to learn, people who want to continue to be better, who are going to continue to work on those weekends. You know, that's who are going to, you know, be the important people at these companies. Karlton, I appreciate you jumping on. I want you to leave the audience with, again, your name, information, where they can reach out to you if they have any questions, if they want to learn more about cybersecurity, or even if they, you know, when we talked the first time, I told you, I said, you don't owe me anything. I'll sit on the phone with you. The only thing I want you to do is if somebody, once you get to where you get to, if somebody needs some information, just talk to them. Because, you know, for me in the beginning, I just didn't have anybody to talk to. So I always say, if anybody wants to talk about tech, I'm willing to talk about tech. So yeah, please give them their information, how they can reach out to you, and then I'm going to close out. And again, thanks for jumping on.
Anytime. So I have LinkedIn. Just type in the search bar Karlton, Karlton, and then Ellis, Ellies. Put that in the search bar. You'll see me, and don't feel ashamed or anything to message me or whatnot, because I can talk to you. I have been talking to my other friends that have been interested into it. So that's probably the best way to get a hold of me, because I have a lot more. That's the main thing I use for like professional type of stuff, like dealing with cybersecurity and whatnot.
Gotcha. Hey man, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to see where you're at. I know in the next 2 to 3 years, you'll be even bigger. Pretty soon, we'll be reaching out to you to send you some employees. You'll be managing, or maybe even your own cybersecurity company where we'll get some young people up there to work for you. This is Max Dennison. Thank everybody for tuning in. This Tech Talk is about cybersecurity and just how to get in there, how to operate, what makes you good at being a SOC engineer. Please tune into the next one. And thanks, everybody, again. See you later.